What is up, everyone? Matt Parrino here from NYuPstate.com. I'm here at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey, where the Buffalo Bills are fresh off a dominant 41-10 win over the New York Jets. Bit of a shocker, just in the sense of how much of an explosion they had on offense. We're going to do a Facebook Live here, about 15 minutes, talk about everything that went down here at MetLife Stadium. And kind of look ahead here. We get the bye coming up next week, but a lot of questions around this team. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, definitely leave them here. But the big storyline today, Matt Barkley, 2 touchdown passes. He almost had 3 touchdown passes. Zay Jones had a ball close to the goal line. He fumbled it. Luckily, tight end Jason Kroom picked it up for the Bills. But going into halftime, 31-3, everything was clicking from the opening drive. Robert Foster got involved on the first play, had the extra offensive lineman in the game, faked a play action to LeSean McCoy, went 47 yards down the field. That set up a 30-yard touchdown run for LeSean McCoy, and the Bills were off to the races. It's an interesting situation because Nathan Peterman started last week, and most people thought that Josh Allen was going to be, good to go here. They were talking about it all throughout the week. He had a press conference on Wednesday, talked about, wanting to get back in here, jumpstart this offense. And actually, let me just pull this down just a little bit for you guys. One-man show. Sometimes you got to change it up on the fly. What's up, Scott? And, most people thought that Josh Allen had a good chance of playing today, and he didn't go. Speculation started to bubble on Friday that it might be Matt Barkley instead of Nathan Peterman. Sean McDermott didn't even want to entertain the idea of Peterman going back out today. And I think I saw on Twitter that during the broadcast, Andrew Catalon said that McDermott just wanted Peterman to have a break. But Barkley having a good game here, pretty much solidifying, that backup role, you would think, if Allen's ready to come back after the bye, like Adam Schefter was reporting earlier today. You'd have to think Barkley's probably going to be the backup. They want to keep Derek Anderson around here long term because of his experience. And it would seem that Nathan Peterman's the odd man out. I would think that the Bills at this point, 7 interceptions in 3 games this year, 2 of those games starts. Even though the game didn't go it wasn't all about Nathan Peterman being bad last week, it's still enough of a sample size to say that it's time to probably move on. You have Matt Barkley now, who comes in here in just less than 2 weeks and really just had an outstanding game. 15 for 25, 232 yards and 2 touchdowns, and like I said, he almost had that third. He looked comfortable. He looked like he's been there before. He's not going to wow you with his arm strength. He doesn't bring the same things that a Josh Allen brings to the table, but you saw today that he can go out there and manage a game. Brian Dable had an outstanding game plan that they installed today, and that's something that Matt Barkley talked about in the locker room on Friday as well. Is he doesn't know the whole playbook yet. He's only been here for 2 weeks, but he knows enough to go out, make some plays, get some things done for this offense, and they did that today. Got some short passes going, threw a couple long balls. Robert Foster, what a revelation! I would like to talk a little bit about that. Very impressive day for him, 100-yard receiving day, but more than that, I think it really goes to show, for those, one of the big talking points around this season is the process, right? Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane's process. And, we've talked a lot about, on these Facebook Lives, about the offense kind of lagging behind and the defense really having to carry the load. And, Robert Foster's been active for a number of games this season, was released, brought back, and then made active today. And at times this year, even I've said, I don't really understand why he's on the roster. I mean, he's had some plays and some games in preseason and training camp where he was a real question mark. But, this coaching staff saw something in Robert Foster that kept bringing him back, kept giving him opportunities, and today he made that coaching staff, this Bills coaching staff today, look really good. So Isaiah McKenzie, his first game for the Bills, he looked really good in kick returns, showed a couple flashes, I think it was 1 or 2 plays where he had a couple rushes, really showed his dynamic nature with his speed that he could bring to Brian Dable's offense. Could be a weapon for Josh Allen as we move along on the season here, but, I think as we move in the next 2 weeks, that's going to be one of the biggest question marks, or biggest discussions, I should say, as we head into the Jacksonville week. Should Josh Allen play if Matt Barkley can kind of maybe run the ship and let Josh sit back and watch the rest of the season? Going into the year, I was a big proponent of putting Josh Allen out there. I feel like you get those game reps, learn on the job what you're supposed to do. You have Derek Anderson here. You could have him for support as kind of another coach, a guy that's on the sidelines, but it's been in your shoes. But now you look at this record at 3-7. The Bills are probably not going to be making the playoffs this season. So what's the upside of bringing Josh Allen in on a team like this? But then you take today, and you take what the Bills were able to do today. LeSean McCoy gets going today. 26 carries for 113 yards and 2 touchdowns. Those were LeSean McCoy's first 2 touchdowns of the season. He really got going. Obviously, some frustration boiling over for him the last couple weeks. He kind of went radio silent there for a few weeks, and he came out today and proved that he is still an elite running back in this league when he's given opportunities, and gave a lot of praise to the offensive line with the way that they blocked today. Rookie Wyatt Teller, a lot of fans have been clamoring for him to get into the lineup. He did today. Ran the ball or blocked really well at times. There were some times where he was a little bit out of position, or maybe technique-wise wasn't exactly where he wanted to be. But if you're a Bills fan, 5th-round draft pick as a rookie, first start, you have to be thrilled with what he was able to do and the way that they moved this Jets defense. And listen, this is a middle-of-the-road Jets defense, but I think a lot of experts had high hopes for this unit going into the league, and the Bills really dominated at the line of scrimmage, which is something that Sean McDermott has been harping on week after week, week after week. Zay Jones, wide receiver Zay Jones was outstanding today. I mentioned it several times on social media throughout the game. He's just a guy that just has a look like he's figuring it out, right? So many struggles last year as we watched him in his rookie season try to develop, try to get any type of things going. And he even said, like, guys like LeSean McCoy would come up to him and tell him, you have the skill set, you have the talent, just keep plugging away. And that's what he's done. And the coaching staff has lauded him this entire season about his work ethic and about how he stayed determined and focused, even despite a crazy offseason incident, that hotel incident in California that cost him a part of training camp there. But he's coming on and blossoming. You could see in the way that he's talking after the games, during the game weeks, just how much confidence he's playing with. Had the touchdown catch today, 93 yards, 8 receptions, both career highs. And that's important, especially if you're talking about Josh Allen potentially coming back here. With Zay Jones playing at a high level, you start to Robert Foster playing at a high level. Then you throw in an Isaiah McKenzie. Terrell Pryor obviously didn't have the best day today. Had a couple targets, 3 targets, no receptions. Same thing for Calvin Benjamin, 3 targets, no receptions. But you have some options there, and you have some confidence to build on. So if you're a Bills fan, I think it's exciting. I think what today did more than anything is it gives everybody kind of like a fresh start for these last 6 games of the year. I think that looking down the barrel of this final stretch of the season could have been really depressing if you come in here against the New York Jets team that isn't very good and you kind of threw up a stinker, and they didn't do that today on either side of the ball. The defense continues to just be outstanding. They held the Jets and Josh McCown to 199 total yards today, 2 interceptions. Micah Hyde gets his first interception of the season. And it's exactly what you want to see, complimentary football. I mean, Sean McDermott's been talking about it. The players have been talking about it. And they did that today. And Shaq Lawson even said, man, we got juice just from the way that the offense started today. It's been so much where the onus has been on the defense to hold up and to make sure that the other team isn't scoring points. And that can, over the course of a season, get frustrating and get to be stressful. And today, 2 plays, 7 points on the board, and Shaq Lawson said, man, we're feeling it. This is going to be a big day. And you saw that energy on both sides of the ball throughout the game. A big day for the Bills Mafia. Pancho Villa came out to New York City to surprise his longtime friend Pinto Ron, Kenny from the Pinto Tailgate. He was celebrating his 400th consecutive game attended. That's road and home games since 1994. I went and spoke to Kenny last night at McFadden's in New York City. They were having a bit of a party there. Bills Backers Bar here in the city. And that video and that story will be out next week. Pretty impressive stuff. But Pancho was here, and Zay Jones found out about Pancho Vila's story a little bit more this weekend as Pancho spoke to the team yesterday, I believe, and the Bills put out a video on it today. That story is up at NYupUpstate.com. He had Pancho written on his towel when he scored the touchdown, pulled it out. So a big day here in New York City, New Jersey, against the New York football Jets that don't actually play in New York, New Jersey. But big day for the Bills and all of Bills Mafia. Guys, for all your coverage, I'm going to have more for you tonight at NYupUpstate.com along with Ryan Talbot. We'll have some stuff next week. Look in the bye week. I mentioned that story. We'll also have some draft stuff. I spoke with Joe Marino from the Draft Network. We'll have that video up and stories to come next week. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again in a little over a week. Buffalo versus Jacksonville back in Orchard Park. Thanks for watching, guys.